again to the World of Thaylos. Tonight we have with us Sheik and Fuluko, Marcus and Luzfang. Mira is stuck at work. She won't be able to make it. And Renji is, he feels like he may be getting ill, so he decided to take a rest this evening. When we last left our adventurers, they had come upon the Bard's College town, and with Justin the Bard in the lead, bringing them into the town with much anticipation, and finding that the town had actually changed in the few short years that he has since he had left the college. The hospitality that he had found there previously seems to be rather lacking, and some of the town's residents appear to have stooped to petty theft. However, and even one of the schoolmasters was quite evasive and seemed rather untrustworthy. Justin did mention one of the school teachers, Miss Adrian Hill, who he felt would be trustworthy, and the party is making their way to the secondary faculty living hall in search of Mistress Adrian Hill. And the action moves once again to the Bard's College.
All right.
Here we are. Okay, it is now late morning. Justin presents an H-shaped building that is supposedly the secondary faculty living area. Like the rest of the town or the rest of the city, the grassy area has been withered away and is simple dirt or mud now. Even the fountain, the great fountain in the what would be called one of the main living areas of the city, is dried up and cracked and falling to pieces. There are a few green trees dotted here and there, but for the most part, the city is beginning to look run down. Justin knocks on the front door of the faculty living area and calls for Mistress Adrian Hill. A plump-looking woman answers the door and shows recognition on her face. She looks at Justin, and a ghost of a smile comes across her lips, but then she sees the rest of the group. And she looks first at Marcus and then at Mira, and then her eyes narrow, and her voice takes on a very cold tone. Yes, what can I do for you? She says. And Justin seems a bit taken aback by this. And he says, Mistress Hill, don't you recognize me? And she looks at him, nods her head, and she said, "Yes, Mr. Lamb, you were here just a few years ago. As I recall, you graduated with less than honors." And Justin, he flushes just a bit, and he kind of stammers a bit, but he says, "All right, yes, my marks were not as high as they could have been, but I still graduated. We are actually looking for some help here in the town, and we were wondering if you could give us some information." And Mistress Hill, she shakes her head a bit. I'm sorry, are you trying to say something, Luzfang?
No, sorry about that.
Okay, because I hear your voice coming through. All right. So Mistress Hill shakes her head and kind of crosses her arms and leans against the door frame. She seems to be looking out at the square past the group, as if scanning the area. And Justin, noticing her look, he turns around and looks behind the group as well. But seeing nothing, except the rest of the group. He turns back and he he says, "Mistress Hill, we really mean no harm. I had hoped that this would be a happy reunion. I haven't seen you for 3 years. Don't you remember the classes that we had, the performances that we had? Does that mean anything to you?" And then Mistress Hill kind of hangs her head a little bit and then backs into the doorway and she says, "Mr. Lamb, who are these companions of yours?" And so Justin turns around and introduces each of you. And at that point, coming up the walkway comes Renji, and Mistress Hill actually starts to look afraid, and she kind of backs away and starts to close the door. And Justin quickly stops her and puts his hand on the door and says, No, he's not going to hurt you. He's part of our group. In fact, he's our protector. He's the one that keeps us alive. And Mistress Hill, her response is, and what is it that follows you that just you need to keep alive from? And then Justin, he looks up at her and he says, "That's what we wanted to talk to you about. Can we please come in? We need to get off the streets." And then Mistress Hill thinks for a moment, then shakes her head and she says, "I'm going to regret this." And she says, "Okay, you guys can come into the front area."
I politely bow and say thank you for letting us in.
And then she notices you, Sheik, and she turns back to Justin and says, "I'm sorry, was that Marcus speaking?"
Yeah, that was me.
Marcus. Oh, I'm sorry. That was I thought that was Sheik speaking. Forgive me. So she sees the group of you, several of the raised walking in, fur and all, and she seems to be somewhat disapproving.
Oh.
But she says nothing as you enter, and you sit in a front area on some very nicely furnished chairs. The interior of the building, while it is somewhat Spartan, it is nicely furnished, and it seems to be a comfortable living area for a number of faculty. You can see several faculty members milling about. There are several that are working at desks and shuffling papers or looking through record things.
You seem to have quite a lot of money.
And Mistress Hill glances in your direction but doesn't answer. And she looks out and she says, "Oh, Justin, you're not just traveling with a bunch of non-humans. They actually have one human with you. Care to come in, young man?"
Sure. By the way, it's not letting me select my character.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh, now that's crummy.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess I'll bring you in.
Yes, please.
All right. After the rest of you enter, Mistress Hill closes the door behind you and sits in a chair in the parlor from you. Her eyes dart to the group, looking you up and down, but her words are only for Justin. "Now, Mr. Lamb, what has brought you and this motley crew, shall we say, back to the Bard's College?" Justin looks up at her and he actually leans forward on his knees, and he kind of looks to the other faculty members, but they're far enough away or they're absorbed in their own thoughts. And so he comes a bit closer to Mistress Hill and he says in a quiet voice, "Do you know about the 6 fragments of chaos?" And Mistress Hill's eyes go wide, and she says, "The Lord of Chaos, he was destroyed over 1,000 years ago. The 6 shards, he was divided into 6 pieces, and they were laid to rest. That's all I know about it." What do you know about it? Justin looks over at the group, and he motions Mira and Loosefang to come over to him.
I'm not over there. I thought it was over in the
Oh,
college.
you're right, Loosefang. You followed the other. You followed Faluco, didn't you?
No, I followed him.
That's right. I forgot. I thought, I remember now. Faluco was not the main perpetrator. It was Loosefang that was. That's right. I'm trying to remember now. So he motions Mira over, and he says, "It will surprise you to know, mistress, we have seen one of the shards." And Mira turns to him and kind of nudges him in the shoulder, and she says, "Two, actually." And Justin, he turns back and he says, "Yeah, yes, of course, that's right. I wasn't with the group when the first shard was encountered." And Mistress Hill, she actually kind of collapses in her chair, and she looks pretty tired, and all of the professionalism on her face just kind of melts away. And she said, "Justin, what are you bringing into this city?" And Justin shakes his head and he says, Justin says,
out of the city.
"They're already here." Marcus, what were you going to say?
Oh,
That was she.
I was about to say something about... Oh, sorry, Sheik, go ahead.
What I was just muttering, at least, is what we're trying to take out of the city.
Oh.
So you say, you say something about trying to take it out of the city, and Justin comes forward and says it very clearly. It's already here. One of the shards is here in the city. And Mistress Hill, her eyes turn very, very wide, and she looks at the group, and she says, "No, this can't be right. No. How could that possibly be?"
You ever hear of a thing called jealousy?
One of the shards. I'm well versed in the stories. These are stories that we used to entertain audiences and scare children.
Well, it seems like he's made quite an influence over a few of the students from what we've seen so far.
How do you mean?
Well, we were just robbed earlier. I got robbed 10 gold coins, and my friend Mira over there almost got robbed of an important thing of hers.
Bandits in the town. Were they students? Were they older? You don't. Did you get a good look at their faces? You didn't see, so you don't even know if they were from the town at all, do you?
Well, we couldn't tell, but by the looks of how you're allowing these kinds of men into your town, I'm kind of surprised that you would even be letting them in at all, or letting them in at all.
Look around the city. This isn't some organized, block by block city that has one of your big stone walls around it. This is an open place. We have guards that patrol the streets, but anybody could walk in from the outside. We try to be very welcoming.
Well, Justin's also said that the town seems to be pretty different as well from when he was here previously.
She falls silent and kind of fidgets with her fingers. And Justin notices this, and he says, "Mistress Hill, things have changed around here. Haven't you noticed?" And the mistress, she just shakes her head and kind of purses her lips together. Good one, Sheik. Okay, give me 2 search checks.
Okay.
Meanwhile, this conversation will continue. Justin rolls a diplomacy, trying to convince the mistress here. Not bad, not bad.
There's 2
Ooh.
Oh, very nice, Sheik. Very nice. Okay. Sheik,
He
as
stole
you
my
go around...
eyes!
What?
He
Say that
stole
again?
my eyes! He stole my eyes! Ah!
And so, Sheik, the first thing you notice as you take casual glances at the papers and sheaves that are sitting on the various desks and tables is that the paper is a dead ringer for the pages that you found in the message. It has got to be the same material. Now, the handwriting, obviously, there are lots of different scripts and handwriting that you're seeing on the different pages. Some of them are very elaborate. In fact, you see some very nice examples of calligraphy, which just happens to be one of the classes that is taught here at the Bard's College. But sadly, you don't see any that look remotely close to the script that you saw on the rolled up note that the orc captain was carrying.
But it's a start.
It's a start.
At least know we're in the right place.
At any rate, so Mistress Hill, her demeanor just kind of fades and kind of melts around her. Her icy exterior is you can see it's kind of breaking. She looks up at Justin, and then she looks at the rest of you, and her eyes are now somewhat pleading, and she says, "Do you know what is going on with our city? Because I don't. If you know what's going on, tell me, please."
That's what we're here to investigate, ma'am.
She actually stands up and she motions the whole group. She says, "Back there," and she actually heads back to her own quarters in the southeast section of the housing unit.
Sorry, this is kind of out of character, but did Lady Ament fly into the house?
Yes,
or
she did. She did join you inside.
Okay.
You know, she's not all that communicative, and she doesn't know all that much yet, but she does know that she likes you and wants to stick around with you.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Okay, Sheik, can you control your character yet?
Yes, actually.
Fantastic. There you go.
Wait. Maybe it might just be the slow internet connection.
Perhaps. It might be.
Could be. Or Roll20 is having some issues and just being a little slower than usual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me open up that area because I realize you can't see all of it yet. There. Now you can see things. All right. So this is a 3-story building. The way it is organized, as you realize, is that there is a central area connecting all 3 floors, and each corner of the building is one housing unit. So each floor houses 4 different faculty members, while the central commons area has desks and chairs and reception areas and gathering places, so that faculty members can have meetings and get their work done. But when you enter her apartment, you can see that this area is even more sparsely furnished than the commons area. It's functional, but with very little actual luxury or form to it. Justin is actually surprised.
Comfortable.
Plain but comfortable, yes. Justin is actually surprised, and he mentions to Mistress Hill. He says the works that we put together, your students, you always keep the ones that you like the most, and you told us that you posted them on the walls of your apartment. What happened to them? And Mistress Hill, she kind of hangs her head a bit and she says, well, I've taken them all down. I've had to put them all away. You see, I've had to anything that I don't use on a daily basis, I've had to lock up. Things are disappearing. people are breaking in. I don't know if they're breaking in or not, but things are disappearing right and left. You can't keep a hold of anything that belongs to you unless you lock it up in some very secure location. You could come back to your place at the end of the day, and things that have been there all the time, they're just missing. No signs of break-in, no signs of anything overturned or broken or anything. Things just disappear. And
I grasped firmly the book that Maid Marian gave to me, and I motioned to Mira, you might want to hold on to that.
and Justin actually nods and says, "So, yeah, we actually we ran into that. Is the guard, the watch? They didn't seem very interested." And Mistress Hill just shakes her head and says, "No. In fact, the guard, they've been gathering mostly around the major buildings, the classrooms and the auditorium down south, but they don't patrol the streets all that much anymore. It's you see what's going on out there. The grass is dying. The groundskeepers, they've all been dismissed. There are no groundskeepers anymore, and it's like people are pulling into themselves. The laughter in the streets and the friendships and the spontaneous song and dance that would happen out in the streets. You'd see that almost every day, but it doesn't happen anymore. I don't know what's happening to the students here or even to the faculty, but my own class size is getting smaller and smaller each semester. I'm considering just packing up and leaving the college altogether.
Not much of a bard's college without bards.
Well, you see, young man, we do have bards, but these are not true bards, because a bard is someone who spreads cheer, who spreads joy, who performs and entertains. It seems that these people are focusing more on their accomplishments. So how can I do this better than the next guy? Or guarding knowledge. How can I, the people they don't want to share their skill anymore. They just want to be admired. So you're saying
that's not jealousy. I don't know what is.
You did mention that before. Can you explain what you mean?
Well, one of the shards, his name is Jealousy, and I believe he might be here by how self-centered everybody here seems to become.
So you're saying one of the shards of chaos is here in the city?
I believe so.
Why is the city still standing? All of the stories that we told to children, the shard, they would come and destroy things, and they would take children away in the night, and they would burn houses down. That's not what's happening here.
Destruction doesn't always have to be visible.
Sometimes it might just be slowly. It might just be decaying the university.
The last shard we saw, well, basically was down hiding with a vampire children. They probably are fighting with different tactics than they did in the stories of old.
Well, I know better than most that stories do not always reflect history. History usually gets shrouded in legend and myth, so the truth gets mixed up in there somewhere, where the retelling of the stories over the ages gets embellished. So the true stories tend to get lost over time. I've put away most of my history books. Mr. Lamb here will tell you, I'm an author. I write stories.
Ooh.
And I teach the students how to write.
Do you know how to read this one book that I have? I opened the arcane book that I have that Maid Marian gave to me.
her eyes grow wide, and she gingerly reaches out her hands, pulls them back, and she says, where did you get that?
I got it from Marion's tower. We were there, I think maybe about a day or so ago.
You come from the sorceress's tower, and she actually let you in?
Well,
Yes.
we were kind of invited.
Do you know who she is?
I kind of do. I'm trying to grasp a knowledge of who she really is.
Legend has it that she's one of the pyromancers, a conclave that existed 1,000 years the history of this planet, and they wrote it all down in those tomes. That book that you're carrying, young man, if I recognize those characters correctly, that's one of the pyromancer's histories. How could she ever let you take that away from the tower?
Well, I have my own arcane abilities, and I kind of do a intimidation with my ice powers.
Okay, so roll and intimidate. You're going to try and intimidate the one of the school teachers.
I think he's just trying to show it off.
Oh, you're trying to. You're trying.
Yeah, just trying to show off.
Oh, you're just trying to show off. Gotcha.
That would be a perform check.
That would be more performance than intimidation.
Okay. Yeah. My bad.
All right. Once you do that, we will move the action back to Foluco and Loose Fang.
Sounds good.
Wait, hold on.
Hey, not bad.
Well, I guess.
Not bad, Marcus. Not bad. So, you bring an aura of frost around one of your out to her. Her eyes widen just briefly, but then she smiles and she says, "And you need quite a bit more flourish in what you do." That display was more function, and it didn't have all the intended effect, I'm sure. If you want to properly frighten someone, you've got to be flamboyant, more boisterous. And with that, she says it kind of nervously. You can tell that she is more trying to break the tension than trying to mock or insult you.
Oh.
All right. Action moves back to one of the class halls.
Okay, so Sir Squeaks is currently climbing.
Sir Squeaks, go ahead.
Yeah, Sir Squeaks is currently shimmying up the staircase, and Foluco is outside currently.
Okay, so Foluco, I need you to give me a spot check. Oh, excellent. Very nice. All right. So, Foluco, you catch a glimpse of someone on the roof who is actually clambering over the roof and heading off toward the east. You only see it briefly.
Oh, so not enough time to react?
Not enough time to react, but you do notice there is definitely someone up there.
Is there any way I can get onto the roof? I'm assuming like this pallet here could help me, right?
Those pallets, yes, but you can see there's an awning, and it is actually a 2-story building full of classrooms. So the tree itself goes high enough to go above the roof. So if you can climb the tree, then you could get up to the roof. But you don't know if you could do it fast enough to be able to catch up to this guy.
Or Sir Squeaks just flat out flies.
Sir Squeaks is currently climbing a 2-flight staircase.
Yeah. Unable
to fly.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Let me check something real quick.
So, Loose Fang, what are you doing at this point? I'm going to move you out of the way so Sir Squeaks can go up the stairs. There we go.
Climbed over me, and so I'm just waiting. Get out of the way.
Yep. Sir Squeaks has arrived at the second floor now, and he is standing in the main hall.
Can't I just use spider climb to climb the building?
You certainly can if you wish.
All right. I'd spider climb up the building.
Okay, you're gonna you have to cast the spell, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll mark off that spell slot. All right.
Yep.
So then, spider climb allows you to climb at how fast? Is it 20 feet or 10 feet?
Let's see. Minutes per level, so it's a duration of 1 hour. Climb speed of 20 feet.
20 feet. Okay, so that means in 6 seconds you can climb 20 feet. So it takes you about 10 seconds to reach the top roof. So put yourself up on the roof there.
Yeah, there.
All right, and again, you catch just before he goes out of sight across the bridgeway. It is clearly Master Sorensen, and he is making his getaway.
Oh, well, I follow suit then.
All right. Now, Loosefang, give me a listen check. Sir Squeaks, also a listen check.
Lots of stuff.
Just don't die, okay?
All right, and Sir Squeaks, listen check.
Hold up. There's lots of stuff on my screen. Give me a second.
Sure.
You said listen check?
Yes, please. Oh, that's actually not all that good for Sir Squeaks.
I think that's what, a 1? No, that's a 2.
It's a 2. Copy. All right. So, Loosefang, you hear footsteps on the roof above you. Sir Squeaks, you're simply trying to get your bearings in this very unfamiliar area that you have emerged into. So you don't catch that there's footsteps up on the roof. So, Loosefang, clearly there's someone up on the roof up above you.
Are there any windows in the?
You can see that there are several doors around you, but there are no windows immediately. You emerge into the central hallway that leads between the classrooms. If you could give me a spot check, Loosefang, and a spot check from Sir Squeaks. Foluco, you go ahead.
Spot check.
Do you hear that? Squeak?
1 fish,
Got
2 fish, red fish,
someone
blue
up on the
fish.
roof.
Oh, that was an 8.
So, Loosefang, you hear the footsteps on the roof. Sir Squeaks actually go and nudge has been left ajar.
240, what?
What now? You cut out.
Sorry. So, Loosefang, you heard the footsteps on the roof, but Sir Squeaks is the one who noticed a door that has been left ajar, and he goes and tries to nudge his nose into it, and it opens for him, revealing another stairway that leads up to a landing and a little study area that's built into the roof awning, and there is a window on that one, and that window is hanging wide open.
Okay, before he gets any further across the bridge, I use entangle to...
So you're going to try and entangle this guy.
Yes, and I know this spell can reach him because I have a spell range of 640 feet.
Yeah, just a minute. I'm going to look up the entangle spell.
He has to make a DC 20 strength check or a DC 20 escape artist check.
Yes.
For a full round action.
Okay. Nature. Right. Okay. Let's see. So
And
first it's a reflex to see if he gets entangled in the first place.
and by the way, it is anchored to an immovable object because it's a tree. You can't really move those.
So you're actually using the tree to entangle.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The trees kind of just like warp around and like grab Master Sorensen.
So druids, so much fun. All right. So the branches and twigs and leaves of the tree wrap themselves around the bridge and trying to make an impenetrable barrier while also trying to wrap around his legs. He is going to make a reflex saving throw to see if he... Nope. He is entangled. So he's going to try and make an escape artist check to see if he can break free of it. Yes, he can. So the tree limbs and twigs wrap around his feet and temporarily hold one of his feet to the bridge, but he slips out of it and jumps over the entanglement and tries to go further down the bridge. Now, what is the area of effect on entangle?
40 feet.
40 feet. So he actually has to get through 2 more squares of it.
Yeah, and each turn, the plants once again attempt to entangle the creature.
Okay, Sir Squeaks and Loose Fang, what are you guys doing at this point?
Wait, so Sir Squeaks noticed the door and like nudged it, right?
And then there was a stairway that led up to a little study area that has a window in it, and that window is hanging wide open.
Sir Squeaks kind of like embarrassingly like nudges for Loose Fang to go first.
Make sure the window's all the way open. Look around. Make straight drop down or what?
Yes. So the window is, the window is actually right here. It's on the upper awning of the roof. Can you see how the roof is at that spot? So that's a little study area for the students, and there is a single window in that area that is actually technically a 3rd floor in this building. So it actually is. It's about a 25-foot drop down onto the wood pallet below. But with some agile maneuvering and maybe a bit of acrobatics, you could probably get out of the window and up onto the roof.
Which
Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so you could use climb here. All right.
there's no acrobatic.
No, there's no acrobatics. But yeah, there's climb, and then there's also balance. Which one are you stronger at?
Balance.
Okay, so give me a balance check then. Okay, so you stand on the threshold of the windowsill and hold on to the edge and look up and try and grab the overhanging roof with your other hand, but you can already feel that you're going to be off balance if you do that. So you need to set yourself again. At that point, Sir Squeaks actually trying to climb out the window while you're still standing in it.
Oh, good.
What are you going to do now? Back to Foluco. Okay, Master Sorensen is going to attempt a reflex saving throw once again. And he is again held by the entanglements and tries to do an escape artist, and again escapes once again. So it is tripping him up. It is slowing him down, but it is not stopping him. Okay, so Sir Squeaks wants to get out the window, Loose Fang, but you're having trouble.
Just a second. Let me get out of your way there, Squeak.
Okay, so go ahead and give me another balance check and see if you can figure this out. Nope.
Can I attempt a climb check?
You can try and climb, but if you're off balance, that you're not really confident that you're going to make it. Nope, you are not.
Hmm.
All right.
I pull myself back in and let her.
How
like,
big is the
fly
window?
out. Use
The window is it's tall enough for Loose Fang to stand in it, and he's only crouched over just a little bit. So he's actually standing on the window pane the window sill, and he's crouched over just a little bit, and then that takes up the whole window area. He is able to reach up and grab the roof from there, but he just can't get a good enough grip or balance himself well enough to get up on the roof. So are you going to climb back down and let Sir Squeaks go?
Yes.
Okay.
So is it big enough for Sir Squeaks to just like fly out and then up?
Yes. He can just throw himself out and take flight because he's got a 25-foot drop. That should be enough.
Oh, cool. Let's just do a quick spot check on that.
Okay. So now what are you trying to spot there?
Over here, these guys.
So you're trying to say Sir Squeaks notices where you and Master Soren.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Master Sorensen once again is going to make a saving throw to avoid the last square of entanglement. And this time he does. He nimbly hops over the last of the branches trying to entangle him and then disappears on the other side of the roof. All right, now, Foluco.
Okay, shoot.
Do you have the ability to walk through entanglement? Because
Yeah. That's
well, you cast it, but that doesn't mean that you're immune from it.
no. I what's the trait? Woodland Stride.
There it is. I was thinking Planeswalker, but I know that's not. Yes. So you do have Woodland Stride?
I do.
All right, then yeah, you can just walk over it like it's normal terrain.
Is it a concentration spell?
Yes.
Oh, it's
Oh,
one. No.
Entanglement
It's 1
in
minute.
Fire and Forget.
Yeah, it's 1 minute per level, so it's 6 minutes.
Yeah, entanglement is Fire and Forget. But Woodland Stride, yeah, you can just walk over stuff like it's normal terrain. All right. So are you gonna try and follow him over the crest of the next roof?
Yeah.
All right. Then let me open up the area for you. There you go. All right. You crest the next roof. And beyond, you can see more huts, more various sized buildings with each with bridges in between them as before. But Master Sorensen is nowhere to be seen. There is a bridge here, and there's a ladder here that leads down to the ground. You don't know which one he took, or he may have jumped off. You don't know. He's actually surprisingly nimble he appears to be like in his 50s or his 60s. So, Loose Fang, you're going to try and balance once again, this time without an insistent dire bat nudging you from behind. You have no problem making your way up onto the roof.
Alrighty. Once up there, I do a quick look, like I walk up the beam of the roof, and just kind of get the bearings, look around what I can spot.
As you crest the roof, you can see Fuluko building. Clearly, he had crossed that bridge. The bridge is now covered in what looked like branches and leaves and twigs. A tree had grown over the bridge. And you can only surmise that Foluco is up to his normal antics.
Alrighty.
Oh boy.
So I would like to sort of get a running start along the bridge, jump it, all of
Okay.
his entanglement.
So that's not, sorry, that's not transparent, but
That's
there's the entanglement right there. Okay. So you're going to get a running start and try and jump over it, because the actual area of the entanglement is 40 feet. How far is your jump? Because I know monks can make pretty big jumps like that.
Guess we're about to find out.
There we go. So that's the extent of the entanglement right there.
Don't I get a bonus to my jump checks if I get enough of a run?
That is correct, you do. Let me take a look at your character sheet.
I wasn't sure if that was running.
All right. So class abilities, strike, fast movement, evasion, key strike, still mind, slow fall, feats, stunning, dodge, trip. Oh, I don't see anything on your sheet for the extra jump. The extra jump distance. Maybe that comes later for monks, but since you do have extra run speed, so you can try making a 40-foot jump here. This is going to be a pretty interesting jump check, though.
Sure. Just
So here's what I suggest. If you could start clear back here and go along the slope of the roof downward onto the bridge and then run that way, that'll give you, what is it? How much runway will that give you?
starting.
That'll give you 40 feet of runway, which is decent. Okay, so with a running start, that'll give you a bonus to your jump check. Go ahead and make a jump roll and add +4 to it. This is going to be a tough jump, though.
Sure.
To find fat two-leg. Go ahead, Loose Fang.
And what do I add to it, you said?
+4 for your running start. That's not bad at all. That is not bad at all. Okay, in fact, Loose Fang, that is enough to almost clear it. That'll put you right there. So why don't you give me a reflex saving throw? Excellent. Yes, you are unaffected by it. So you clear most of it, and when you come down on your 2 feet, you're able to brace yourself and avoid the entanglement altogether. So you have rejoined Fuluko, and Sir Squeaks is off looking for fat two-leg. Is that what you called him?
It's a simple description.
Yeah. Very nice bit of acrobatics there, Loose Fang. Nicely done.
You think?
All right. So, Sir Squeaks, why don't you give me a search check?
He did a spot check.
I saw the spot, yes, but he can't see where Master Sorensen went, so he needs to search around to see if he can figure it out. I'm afraid that's not going to help.
Nope.
So, yes, Sir Squeaks he looks valiantly, and actually he tries to echolocate as well for Master Sorensen, but unfortunately he's not able to which way he went. And so, sadly, he reports through through his empathy connection, that he was unable to locate your quarry. I'm afraid you guys may have come up empty-handed here.
Can I attempt a sniff check?
You can try. You want to try and sniff him out? You can do that. Now,
Not to say anything ill of him, but he is a bit on the weightier side, and speaking as one in life, I know that frequent running can get the sweat gland going.
That's observant of you, but does your character know that?
And I chase after sheep all the time.
Yeah.
The fatter ones are easier to find.
I'm gonna ask for a knowledge check on that one. Just a second.
Would that be a knowledge?
I'm thinking
Nature?
that sounds like that would be more a knowledge of nature. Yeah.
Guess.
But it looks like you're not trained in any of the knowledges, are you?
I am an arcane.
Oh, yep, you are.
But I don't really think that's much of an art.
Yeah. The thing about knowledge checks is if you're not trained at all in them, you cannot make those rolls. So unfortunately, no. Loose Fang does not he's not privy to that little tidbit of information.
Fair enough.
All right. Now, on the other hand, you did get a little whiff of his scent as you were chasing him, but it's not much to go on. You would need to bury your nose closer to him in order to get the scent solid. And so you were able to get just a little bit here. That might be enough, but it's going to be difficult. So if you want to do a spot check by smell, let's see what kind of score you can get. That is enough. Wow.
Smell all the...
Shoo, Loose Fang, that's amazing. What a time to roll natural.
No kidding.
No kidding. Okay. You can tell Master Sorensen went to the ladder and went straight down that ladder. That's all you know for now, but now that you know what to smell for, tracking him is going to be easier. So you're welcome to share that information or hide it as you wish.
I think I might have got a hold of his... Can I tell which direction?
Yeah, he came over. Let me see if I can show you. He came over here, went down this ladder right.
Yeah.
And then when he got to the bottom, you don't know where he went from there. All right, so the action moves back to faculty housing. And the conversation continues. That was a nice little sound effect. The door opening and closing.
Sorry. Oh, no, that was just me coming from getting dinner.
But
I'm
see,
back,
that was a good scene transition because it happened exactly when we were transitioning from one spot to another. That was pretty good.
Oh, I guess that's helpful. I guess it was just the right timing.
All right. So Mistress Hill, she is somewhat incredulous of your story, but the facts seem to check out. The disturbing observations that she's been making about the changes that have happened to the city itself and to the people living here seem to jive pretty clearly with with the shard of jealousy being here. So she is not sure she fully believes you, but to the contrary at the moment. So she's going on, okay, I'll believe you for now. So if what you say is true, Justin, what do we do about it? Justin turns to Mira and to the rest of the group. He says, we have been advised to trap jealousy. I don't know how to do that. Do you guys have any ideas?
Well, first we need to get jealousy to manifest somehow, and then we need to have a way of containing it.
Okay, manifest step one. Okay, how do you draw out jealousy? See, this is all so foreign to me because I'm so used to just giving freely.
We could do something like a competition, perhaps.
A competition. What have you got in mind? What have you got in mind?
As a Bard's College, draw out people's innate desire to be better than others. Figure out how to manifest that jealousy.
Well,
figure out how to trap it and erase it from there.
Maybe we could do a performance competition.
It's just an idea. It
That's
might even be the best idea.
That's certainly a possibility. If we had a situation where we performers to come and show off their work, not to share it, but more to say, look how good I am. How can we frame it that way?
Talent show.
A talent show, perhaps.
It would have to offer a prize of some sort, I think.
Oh, okay. I like where this is headed.
Otherwise, I'm not sure how to draw it out.
So Justin is looking a little nervous.
Well, I think we might actually have a clue as to where jealousy might be.
Whoa. All right, just a minute, guys. My wife wants to talk to me. Just a second. Sorry about that, guys. She wanted to steal my phone. Are you guys there?
Yep.
Okay. So, planning out a talent show. Mistress Hill, she being the writing coordinator for the school. Oh, my wife wants to talk to me again. Hang on. What? Yes. It was in a purple bowl. Is that on the counter over there?
Yes.
Ah, there we go. Okay. She wants my pineapple too. She took my phone. Now she's taking my pineapple. I don't get it.
What?
All right. So Mistress Hill being the writing coordinator for the college, she says, well, no, writing doesn't lend itself very well to stage performance. There's readings.
Poetry.
We can do readings and we can get an oratory and those kinds of things. But I teach the writing track. I don't teach the actual oratory part of it. If you want, the oratory director, you've got to talk to Matt Sorensen.
Oh.
And then she notices a nervous exchange between the group, and she says, "What did you meet Mr. Sorensen?"
Yep, a little earlier today.
It looks like it may not have gone well. What happened?
I think he was helping some thieves and ran off with.
Wait, one of the faculty was helping was helping those who robbed you. You didn't tell me that.
He seemed to be distracting us from the thieves.
I'm not sure I believe that. I mean, he has been somewhat standoffish as of late, but I don't know if he would stoop to working with petty thieves. On the other hand, So many strange things have been happening around here. I can't say that it didn't happen either. So, did you see him? Did you see him actually working with these petty thieves, or was he simply trying to attract your attention while it was going on? It might have been a coincidence.
Well, I'm not so sure. All I know is that I felt some weird jerking on my pack while he was talking to us. Next thing I knew, 10 gold coins were missing from my pack.
Her face softens and she actually looks rather apologetic. Some welcome to the Bard's College, huh?
Yep.
All right. Well, perhaps I could talk to him. He lives in the other housing up north. We could arrange a talent show, but this is not something you could arrange overnight. This is something that'll take a couple of weeks to put together. If what you say is true and the Shard of Jealousy is here, I'm not sure we have that long.
Probably not. But I think we do have a clue as to where we might be able to find jealousy.
Okay.
I asked.
What do you have in mind?
I asked Sheik about the paper that we were looking at earlier.
Oh yeah,
paper.
we have the writing teacher here. She probably knows the faculty's and staff's handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
You have some evidence. Please, please, please. And she holds out her hand almost greedily.
This was from a group of orcs that attacked us earlier.
You're not talking about the orc tribes up north in the hills.
Yes, but we don't believe they were responsible. We believe they were hired like mercenaries. And this paper, I have confirmed, comes from this college. And
she holds out her, takes the paper from, and she actually puts it up to her nose and sniffs the paper. She says, "Yes, that's the standard parchment that we issue to the students and faculty here." And then she looks at the ink and she nods her head once again. That's the Desert Tribe ink. Most of the people here at the college use that. I mean, it's very easy to come by because the traders come over the mountains and we have a large stock of it. So yeah. You may be right that it did come from the college, but whose writing is this? And she begins to study the handwriting of the script. She kind of becomes excited and she hunches her shoulders as she is very close down to the paper on the counter. And then she says, "Oh, wait. Does anyone have a glass?"
I might be able to give you something. I'm gonna use one of my arcane pools to create kind of an ice shard. Ooh. I guess you could say.
So you're gonna create a clear block of ice and try and shape it like a lens?
Yeah.
Ooh, now that's gonna take two. That's gonna take 2 of your arcane pool because that's a pretty precision feat there.
I like your idea though.
That is a nifty idea because glass, if you shape it right, it works ice, if you shape it right, it works just like glass.
Okay. Well, let's try it.
All right. So, you begin forming the ice between your paws, and you work actually very tirelessly trying to shape the lens just right. What is your knowledge of engineering, Mark?
I have... 1 second. I know I'm trained in it.
Okay, give me a knowledge of engineering check.
Okay.
Oh, fabulous. I love it. I love it. All right. So drawing on the knowledge that you have of machinery and tools and the precision shaping of lenses and how light bends, you are able to create a 4-inch diameter circular lens out of ice that is shaped just right to magnify things. And then, so you hand it over to Mistress Hill, and she says, is this ice? Did you just make this out of thin air?
Yes, I did.
And Justin says, don't worry about how he made it. Use it before it melts. And she's kind of cowed by that a little bit, and she says, right. She takes it between her hands, and she holds it over the paper, trying not to drip onto the paper. And she takes it and the ink and the writing, and she says, yes, this confirms it. Not a single blotch on there. Not a scratch of the pen. You know how fountain pens work, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're two very tiny pins, and the ink actually flows in between the pins, and so you're supposed to hold the pen just at a certain specific angle so that you can get the ink to flow properly. Now, anyone who writes with a fountain pen, the normal way of writing, there are always going to be little blotches or little spatters of ink as you're not holding the pen just at the right angle. The person who wrote this, not a single blotch, not a single spatter. If every line, every hook, every curve is perfect. This has got to come from the calligraphy department. And not just any calligraphy student. This comes from a master. And then her cheeks flush, and she looks up, and then she turns to Justin, and she says, that means it can only be one person. And Justin looks back at her, and he says, it's Master Johnson. But Master Johnson, no, it couldn't be him. He has nothing to do with orcs. He hates orcs. But it couldn't be anybody else. Nobody else writes like this.
If I were to personally try to hire a hit on somebody, I would try to use a party that would be as far away involved as me as possible. Wouldn't you say?
Now you're talking about intrigue and infiltration and spying. I'm afraid that's far beyond my expertise. I write about it. I don't actually do it.
Well, it seems like that might be something that jealousy would do.
She sighs and she says, you may be right. And then she rolls up the paper and hands it back to you, Sheik. And then she very carefully takes the ice, gives it back to you, Marcus, and she says, I'm not sure what you want to do with this, but that was extremely helpful. Can you do that just on any time you want?
Well, it kind of drains me on energy, but I'm kind of working on it. I say as I hold the book that I have in my hand.
A student of a different discipline, I'd wager.
Well, not necessarily a student, but I was born this way.
No wonder the sorceress to you. This group gets stranger and stranger, Justin. For the first time since welcoming you into the housing, she smiles and shows rows of teeth. She says, there's a mystery to solve, and if there's anyone who likes mysteries, it's me.
Well, would you like to come along and make sure that we're not mistaken about the handwriting?
Well, if anybody's going to talk to Master Johnson, it's going to be me. Of you students, and she nods over to Justin, said, you never took his class, did you? And Justin says, oh, no, yes, I did. One semester, just one. And she's gathering her things and putting them into a satchel at her side. And she says, okay, let's go hunt down our mystery writer.
Okay.
And with that, the action returns to the pursuers. By the way, Okay, Marcus. I'm going to award you some experience for that. That was a very clever thing that.
Nice.
So you're going to get some bonus experience for that one.
Sweet.
Okay, so Loosefang, you have determined that Master Sorensen went down the ladder. You don't know where he went from there. You're going to have to try and track down his trail.
I'll head over the ladder, just go down quickly, ground.
Okay.
Catch.
All right. So once you get down to the bottom of the ladder, you can do another spot check here. And since you know what to smell,
What was that? I missed all those last.
I said once you get down to the bottom of the ladder, you can do another spot check by smell. Now that you know what to smell for, this one's going to be easier.
Hopefully it's this.
All right. So there is a breeze blowing down here, and you know that the smell is going to be dispersed pretty quickly if you're not fast on your feet. You do catch a whiff of the smell, and you think, you're not sure, but you think that he turned southward and went south along the edge of the house.
I tell everyone else what I leave. I start heading that way. I let them know you might want to keep some eyes on the sky and check around that area, pick up here.
I just climbed down.
Okay.
I've still got spider climb on for what, another 45 minutes or something?
You surely do. All right. So, Sir Squeaks, are you going to take off searching around?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and search around. Loosefang, you can follow it down to the road.
All right.
All right. Sir Squeaks, give me a spot check.
Wow, my rolls are crap today.
Yeah, Sir Squeaks, you know what you're looking for, and you know your place. Yeah, you know you're generally in the right place, but you don't see anything at the moment. Okay, so Feluco, Loosefang, which way you guys going to go along?
I'm going to go this way.
Do a check to see if I can arrow it.
See if you can pick up the scent again?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Dang, Loosefang. Woo!
Nose.
Yeah. Okay. So you can...
Nose?
In the direction that Loosefang is going, in the direction that Feluco is headed, that's clearly where Master Sorensen walked only moments ago. All right. So, Sir Squeaks, you're actually coming upon a very large building to your west.
Ooh.
You can see that the largest building in the city, at least in this section of the city, is you are passing it on the west. You're on the east side of this building. This is clearly another classroom building, but not just classrooms, because it looks like it would have practice rooms and small performance theaters in here as well. Very elaborate, large-looking building that is being used as part of the school. Now, Loosefang, give me another spot check. Oh, Sir Squeaks, there you go. You already did it. So you see the following. No. Okay. Did I uncover the big building for you guys?
Part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Part of it.
All right. Sir Squeak spotted hiding behind the tree right here. Master Sorensen is hiding behind the tree.
He just
Loose Fang, you do not see him.
Sir Squeaks just kind of like circles in the air above him, but like not too low enough that like Master Sorensen would like know.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
he's a giant bat.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, considering there are no dire bats around the area that you've seen, it's most likely that he probably would have noticed.
Do I notice?
You do notice that Sir Squeaks is circling around that.
I'd head towards where he.
All right. So as you pass under the awning of the house, you come around the tree and you see sitting on the ground with his back to one of the walls and panting heavily is Master Sorensen. Sitting on his and apparently spent. He looks up at you with a mix of fear and anger, and he says, "All right, you've tracked me down. What are you going to do with me now?"
Well, I'd like ability, sir.
I'm sorry, you broke up there for a second.
I'd like to commend you on your mobility, sir.
And his eyes look down on the ground, and he's hugging his knee to his chest while he's just panting heavily, and he's saying, not as mobile as you, apparently."
Well, that's because I devoted myself to fixing my body.
Obviously not to the speaking disciplines, but that's another matter.
Well, and I thought you were the one that was going to teach. Not much of a teacher if you run off before I could get to class.
If you don't mind, I have no desire to share my skills with a fuzzball.
Not even a very to learn fuzzball.
Look around you. How many of your kind have you seen around this town?
Well, I mean, if I'm fair, I haven't seen many of any this town. It's a few people alive short of a ghost town.
Well, it's morning class time. Everybody's going to be in their class.
Well, and I'm not a member of those classes now, so how could I have seen them?
My point is, we don't serve your kind here.
Not serving. Nothing like.
Now, if you would kindly explain to me why you've been chasing me around for most of the morning.
Well, I'm gonna break it to you honest. We were pretty sure you had some dealings with those robbers that dealt with our party earlier, and we were trying to get some more information.
The bunglers. Very well. All right. I was planted there to catch your attention while they were able to rifle through your belongings. Nothing more, nothing less. Are you satisfied?
I stick out a hand.
I didn't hear the last part you said.
I hold out my hand towards him, somewhat as a gesture for him to ask me.
He looks at your hand and then he kind of looks up back at you with a sneer. I'll get myself up when I'm ready, thank you very much.
Oh no, it's not to help you up. I was merely going to commend you on
That's what you want?
I was just going to give you a handshake you on your good job of distracting. I don't approve of what you did, but you did it well.
I am a performer after all.
So can I inquire as to why? What did our group do that deserved to be stolen?
Well, you're clearly not students, you're clearly not applicants, and you're clearly not faculty. Therefore, you don't belong here. What better way to drive you away than to give you the cold shoulder, as it were?
Well, I really don't like this
I
guy.
thought
Seeing as
this
you are a
college was
teacher
supposed to
of
be
the-
open, welcoming.
Well, I mean that too, but I was, as you are a master of the lyrical talents, I figured you could find words to convey that.
What was that for, Luca?
I'm contemplating something.
Okay.
Let's see if I can pull it off.
I'm
I'm gonna do
Oh,
some
messages. There we go. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. So he is still panting pretty heavily. You can see that he, for as much effort as he put into trying to get away from you, he is not as young and spry as he once was. In fact, you're rather surprised that this long.
He doesn't know I'm here, right?
Oh, he knows.
Oh, he does? But he can't see me,
Yeah,
right?
He's actually sitting on his bum, and there is a low tree there, but he can actually see your feet on the other side of the tree. All right. He doesn't seem interested in Goose Fang. He wants to, and you can tell that he just wants to end the conversation politely as impolitely as possible, so that he can get on his way and get away from you.
Afraid I can't let you do that.
What? You're going to turn me into the authority? Aiding and abetting, I suppose you're going to say? They won't believe you at all.
Ugh.
Perhaps. But still the right.
Oh, man.
I tell you, you're wasting your time.
I don't know.
Sorry, you broke up there.
I'm having fun, aren't you?
Look, is there something I can do for you that you'll leave me alone? I've got tickets to Master Yorman's performance this evening. Would you like?
Yes.
Well, who that is? Sure.
You don't know Master Ishak Yorman? You don't move in performance circles.
Well,
You keep
given
breaking
all
up
the...
there, Tarek.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So he's asking, if you know Master Ishak Yorman? And then at your hesitance to answer, he said, you don't performance circle.
Given the berate been given all day, I would have thought that was obvious.
But even those who don't perform themselves, they're the audiences and come and appreciate the talents of such a master composer, a master performer. You've never heard of him?
I just stay silent.
All right, I'm going to send you a private message, Loose Fang.
Yeah.
I'm looking for... Where is it? Where are you? I don't see you. There you are. There we go.
Yes. No, I do.
Okay, you do. Oh, you do know that. Okay,
But I'm also, yeah. It's not something.
I got you.
readily-
Okay. So Master Sorensen, he finally stands up on his own, reaches into his tunic, and pulls out a very neatly pressed envelope. He opens the envelope, which is actually it looks like he has 6 or 7 tickets in there, and he pulls 2 of them out, and he says, "Look, let me recommend a performance that you won't soon forget. One for you and one for your friend over there that seems to be hiding behind the tree."
I come around from the tree and reach to grab the ticket. And I kind of do one of those like things where I like grab the ticket and like use my other hand to shake his hand at the same time. And in doing so, I use contagion and infect him with slimy doom.
What?
I really don't like this guy.
What is your alignment?
No, don't even.
Oh no.
He just
Let me look that up. I'm
He-
gonna see what you're doing here.
he just rubs me the wrong way. So it's the contagion spell, slimy doom, which is infection by contact.
It is a contact disease. There is a saving throw DC 14. It has a 1-day onset, and each day you'll take 1d4 of Constitution damage.
As a druid, infection there's no incubation period.
Aha.
It strikes immediately.
Okay. So 1d4 Constitution damage per day, and if he fails all of his saving throws long enough, he will die when his Constitution goes down to 0.
Yeah, victims turn into infectious goo from the inside out, can cause permanent ability drain.
That's nasty, dude.
When damaged character must succeed on another saving throw, or 1 point of damage is permanent drain instead.
Yep. Now, when they say permanent, they say permanent drain. That means it will come back through normal rest. You actually have to have a restoration spell to get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they say permanent, they don't mean like irreversible.
I could always do the shakes, causes involuntary. No, that one would actually be more fun. Yeah.
Go.
Causes involuntary twitches, tremors, and fits. Yes, let's do that one.
No. What are you? This is putting you in the evil category.
No.
Oh,
I'm gonna give this very cocky guy the Tourette's.
No.
That sounds actually very similar to there was a disease from
So not slimy
the
doom, it's
black-
the shakes.
The Black Plague?
Yeah, from the Black Plague that it kind of made people like want to like get up and dance and move around.
Oh.
Yeah, it was called the
It's really
dancing
interesting.
plague.
Yep.
But yeah,
Like,
so
to this
not
day, nobody knows exactly why people ended up doing that.
Weird.
So yeah, it's not the slimy doom, it's the shakes. Causes involuntary twitch, tremors, and fits. So
All right.
let's
well,
go
let
with
me
that
look
one.
up.
Well,
Yeah.
at least you're not trying to kill him.
Yeah, let's not try to kill him. Let's just embarrass him in front of everybody he wants to be so cocky in front of.
So that one actually, the fortitude save on that one is only 13. Okay, but that one actually gives him dexterity damage. All right, so you're going to take the ticket with one hand, and with the other hand, you're going to shake his hand and give him the contact shakes.
Yeah.
Cause disease. Wow. Okay. So he is going to make a fortitude saving throw. If he gets a 13 or better, then he does not get affected. If he gets 2 saving throws in a row, then he shakes off the disease.
Oh, please fail this. Please.
All right. So fortitude save number 1.
Yes!
He failed the first one. Okay. So Feluco, his next saving throw can be after 1 day. So for the next 24 hours, he is going to have the twitch and shake.
Yes! That's great.
I'm not sure why you're doing this to a faculty member at the Bard's College.
Okay. A, he posed as a distraction for robbers. B, he's just a really arrogant dick.
That may be,
Language.
that may be, yes, language, please. That may be true, Feluco, but you realize that may not be entirely his fault.
Well, possibly, which is why I'm not killing him. I'm just making him have the temporary Tourette's. Or
I just don't think
possibly.
you thought that far.
Yep.
I'm gonna
right.
DM you real quick, Tarek.
All right,
Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead. All right, I'm looking. What do we got? Wait, what? Yes, I was figuring that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, Feluco. Okay, so before
Now,
you see Feluco very graciously accept one of the tickets, and at the same reaches down and takes Sorensen's hand in his, and closes his paw around it.
I kind of like cup it and like shake with both hands, like super gracious kind of way.
You don't pay it any mind at first until Master Sorensen immediately his shoulders seize up, and he hunches his head over, and then he looks down at his hands, and his hands begin to shake uncontrollably. He grits his teeth, and then he looks up at Feluco and he says,
Are you? I can't respond before he says anything. I'm like, are you okay?
What have you done to me? What have you done?
I haven't done anything. Are you all right, dude?
Feluco, what did you?
And then so his shoulders are actually locking up, and his elbows are bent at 90-degree angles at his sides, and he holds his hands out in front of him, and he's just horrified at how badly his hands are shaking, and he's gritting his teeth together as his jaw begins to shake as well.
Oh man, that doesn't look good, dude. You need to see someone.
Feluco.
He points a shaky finger up in your face, and he says, "I'll have you for this," and he staggers off.
I step away from him, just out of the way.
Grab the arm, help take him wherever he's headed.
He turns to you with a almost a snarl, very uncharacteristic of him, and he wrenches his hand from your grip. So give me a grapple check, Loose Fang.
You'll find I might be a bit more control of my
I would have
fact.
gone with the incubation period, to be honest.
All right.
Well, I'm a druid. There is no incubation period. It's just instant.
It passes instantly. So he tries to wrench his arm out of your grip, but you're holding him tight. So he looks at you, and he's still gritting his teeth, trying to stop his jaw shaking. But there is cold fury in his eyes. You can see that he doesn't want you to help him at all.
I know you probably don't care much now, but I also don't want you to get lost, hurt on your way wherever you're going. Clearly something back there. I don't know what I'm. But
He's
you look like
beginning to. Go ahead.
I was just saying, you look like you're in need. Even if I don't care for much personally, it would still not be good for just let you stumble along.
So he's beginning to have difficulty speaking because his jaw is beginning to shake uncontrollably, but he's able to stammer out. That wretched fiend back there is taking my talent. I'll have nothing to do with it. And he clenches his hand. But you can tell that he's weakening. He's still unable to wrench his hand away from your. Now he rolls like. So he finally grits his teeth together again and ceases speaking, and you can tell that he is just fuming inside. But he relents and he allows you to lead him back to the faculty housing where he came from.
All the while, I'm looking for some sort of medic person, whatnot.
Looking for what?
Medic.
Just someone that looks like a cleric, someone with some magic.
Yeah, you
Potential
just
healer.
the most qualified in that area. You back there on the side of the house.
Yeah.
Just because they're the most qualified, they're the one.
Perhaps I shouldn't say most qualified, but the most readily available, I should say. All right, with that.
I'm still just gonna keep an eye out as we're going.
Okay, so one last thing before we swap over to the other guys. So, as he's taking off, I just kind of I'm like, okay, well, I'm assuming that the audition thingy performance is inside the building, so I use reduce animal on Sir Squeaks so he can just like sit on my shoulder, and I go check out this big giant building on the inside.
So you're going to enter one of the main class one of the main class halls.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and the action returns to the second faculty housing. Miss Adrian Hill is at the prospect of pursuing a mystery. All right. At this time, you hear, and the streets are very quickly flooded with people that are walking.
Wait, is that Master
Every
Sorensen?
which way? I'm sorry. That's someone different. That's someone different. It looks like him. Yeah, it's the same model, but it's a different person.
Gotcha.
So you see people walking in all, as both faculty and students let out of class, and clearly it must be the lunch hour.
Huh. Maybe we'll finally get to see some action around this town.
So someone actually hops down from the bridge, and another faculty member actually almost bumps into Mistress Hill as he enters and disappears into his own apartment.
Hey, who's
Without
that?
a word.
Who is that?
Oh, that's our percussion instructor. If you're
I kind of do like a slight drumming on the walls. Bum.
Yeah,
That's kind of like being jokingly.
That's gonna require a perform check.
If you're here
I'm
in the
just doing it jokingly. I'm not really trying to.
Hit still perform check.
Why? It's just a joke.
No, he's just if you're just rapping on the wall, I'm not going to ask for a perform check because he's not actually any result out of it. He's just playing around.
Oh, okay.
The perform check is to see if he succeeds in getting the results.
Oh.
All right.
Apologies.
It's fine.
At any rate, so Mistress Hill says we need to head to the other faculty housing if we're going to find Master Johnson, the calligraphy teacher. Justin looks a little nervous, but he follows. And I'm going to move the group as one.
Whee! And we disappeared. No, we just moved.
Yeah, you're going north. Yeah. So you pass various students along the way, and you can see that there is a general atmosphere of there are some people talking with each other, some people that are interacting and associating, but most of the people seem to keep to themselves and hurry. As you approach the faculty housing back up to the north, you come across.
Oh boy.
Let's see. I'm going to grab Loosefang. So Loosefang and Master Sorensen, I'm bringing you that way. Feluco, I don't know where you.
I'm in
I
the
stayed over by the building.
Oh, that's right. You went over to the building.
yeah.
So as you come to the T intersection here, you across Loosefang, who appears to be leading a very weakened and shaky Master Sorensen, holding him on an arm. At this point, Master Sorensen is no longer walking on his own. He's leaning Loosefang's arm as his body is racked with convulsions.
Oh, whoa, what happened to you?
Master Sorensen cannot speak. His jaw is clamped shut, and he is actually looking Loosefang and then at the rest of in the group. You can see that his eyes are just burning with fury. He is angry about something, but you have no idea what.
I believe our Fualuko took.
I kind of just
Oh no.
paw.
So that's going to require a Wait, that's 5e. What's the equivalent to perception?
Probably a perception as well.
There's
Now,
not a perception check here.
What are you getting at, Feluco?
So it does.
See, Loosefang, he's free to make conjecture. He doesn't know for sure that you did this, but he's free to make conjecture.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just accusing. I don't have evidence,
You can try to.
but I'm fairly certain he did it.
Okay. I didn't.
Yeah.
All right, so the spectacle of seeing one of the faculty members brings up the group short, and Mistress Hill comes over to Master Sorensen, and she sees the state that he's in, and she says, "My goodness, Master, do you need help? What happened to you?" And he just shakes his head and then motions his head over to the faculty building.
He's not been one to help easily. If you've got any sort of healers available, do him some good.
So at this point, Mira actually comes up, and she holds both paws up in the air in a very surrendering gesture. But she walks up to Master Sorensen, knowing full well that he was most likely the ones that helped out the thieves to when they stole her handkerchief. She walks up to him and she says, "Can I examine you? I am a healer. I might be able to help you." And Master Sorensen, he almost bares his teeth at her, and his brows furrow menacingly, but he is very weak at this point, and he can't fight back.
Oh, come on. You really would rather go through whatever it is going with a little help?
Lady Amont is not intelligent enough to make that deduction.
Okay.
This is true. You know, maybe later on. Oh, by the way, Loosefang, what was that spot check for?
I mean,
I was just trying to out for anyone.
Yeah. So yes, as you were traveling the street trying to help Master Sorensen, you did hear the class bell, and you can only assume that the groups that came out of the classrooms were intending to take lunch because it is now midday. So you did see that there were people that came out into the streets. From what you could tell, and somewhat to your dismay, they were all human. No dwarves, no elves, no raised, no dragonborn, just humans, which seemed somewhat odd, considering that you were told that this is such an open and welcoming town, to see nothing but humans would tend to go against what you were told. So Master Sorensen is actually tugging you along, Loosefang, even though he can't support himself now, but he's tugging you along. He clearly wants to get back to his housing at this point. And you're pretty sure that he doesn't like present company.
Well, that's.
Can't prove anything about present company, but doesn't like him at all.
Hey, Mirror, do you mind just following with us? He's healing whether he wants.
Oh, yeah. Mira follow along with you and continues to support. Loosefang, you can tell. Actually, Loosefang, are you trained in healing? Because I'm going to have Mira do a healing check as well.
If I'm not mistaken, I do believe he has to be in the healer's care for at least 8 hours.
Well, that's the long-term care, but to do like an examination, that's also a heal check.
Gotcha.
So Mira's going to do a heal check.
You need me to do a heal check?
Yes, go ahead. Whoa, Mira. Okay, that's her skill.
Yep.
Go. Click it.
Helpful.
Clicked it a couple.
So the dice roll, is it not coming out? Oh no, it has a pop-up to say if you have a healer's kit or not. Make sure that says no and click OK.
Got it.
There you go. Okay. So Mira and Loosefang, first of all, you can tell he's getting weaker by the moment. As each moment passes, his strength is fading.
Holy
you're
crap.
going to need to get him. You're going to need to get him into a chair or even into a bed, because you're not even sure he'll be able to keep himself upright sitting in a chair.
How many dex saves has he failed?
No. He gets one fortitude saving throw every 24-hour period. If he fails one, then the symptoms onset.
I don't know what that means.
So his symptoms are now progressing until he gets to the full shakes.
Wait, how is this full shakes? I mean,
What do you mean?
how is this not full shakes? Like,
well, it's not gonna be like one instant he's fine, and the next second he's falling on the ground in an epileptic seizure. The symptoms are coming on to him over time. They're accelerated, of course, but it's not going to be instant.
I don't know. What?
So
All right.
Mira, on the other hand, she actually it's very clear to her what his symptoms are, and she says, "Master, you have the Shakes disease. How did you get this? Have you had this before?" And he can't speak, but he just shakes his head. And she says, "I'm going to assume that was a head shake and not one of your symptoms." And he shakes his head again, this time more vigorously to make his point.
I don't want to cast aspersions on, but I feel like it might have been doing Fualuka.
So Mira just kind of rolls her eyes a little bit and shakes her head. And she says, "I don't have cure disease memorized right now, but if you'll allow me a resting period where the two of us can both rest, I can heal you in the morning." And Master Sorensen again shakes his head, but he is too weak to resist.
Tomorrow is not Sunday. Yeah.
So as you come around to the courtyard of the faculty housing, Master Sorensen lifts a shaky hand and points to one of the doors.
Do I need a key to get in there?
He doesn't answer. He's unable to speak. But you do come up to one of the
I
doors.
guess we'll just find out.
And you test the door, and the door actually does open. And then you lead him inside. The three of you together lead him inside, and you can see Mira realizes that this is the faculty housing that's very similar to the one that you guys just left. Except in here, you see there is a shelf of books, and you with a casual glance you can see that these books are all stage plays, and he's got quite the collection of them. Mira comments, she says, "Aren't you worried that these are going to get stolen?" And Master Sorensen, at this point, it's as if he can't hear. He is kind of pulling his way over to a bed that's in the next room. So Loosefang, you gently lay him down on the bed, and then he lays there on the bed, and his hands are twitching, his head is twitching, but he is able to lie more or less still otherwise. All right, at this point, we're going to go for about 15 more minutes.
Okay.
But hang on for just a second. All right.
So I'm guessing Mistress Adrian didn't really have much of a reaction to that.
She, on the other hand, she seems by that actually.
She seems what?
She is very disturbed by that. She knows. I mean, being one of the faculty, she knows the other faculty, and she didn't expect something like this to happen. She's she actually comments that she has never seen a case of the shakes here in the town before, and she comments that it's very unusual, and she has no idea where it might have come from.
Maybe it came from the shard. Who knows?
Yeah. The shard. Yeah, that's
At this point,
an
my
explanation.
character had no idea what to say different. So,
Would jealousy cause a disease now? I mean, even in the legends, I don't hear anything like that.
probably not. But this town is making interesting things happen.
So she leads you around the corner to the front of the faculty housing, and she breaks away from the group and motions for Justin to join her. And she goes to the first apartment on the right and knocks on the door, asking for Master Johnson.
Conveniently close.
So, after knocking several times, there is no answer at the door. She turns back to the group and she says, he must still be returning from his class. Or perhaps he went out to eat. It is lunchtime after all. I'm sure he's somewhere around the city. We will catch up to him sooner or later.
You have any good place to eat then?
Well, on the southwestern side, just there is the tavern. You know, there is the well-tuned string tavern. You can always go there to eat. On the southeast side, there are a couple of corner shops as well. I'm not sure if you're hungry.
I'm pretty sure we are. I don't think we've eaten anything since breakfast this morning.
No, I don't think you have.
So yeah, kind of a little bit on the famished side.
All right, so Mistress Hill, she says, well, let me check on Master Sorensen. I can take you to the well-tuned string, and we can see if we can see about getting some lunch there. But don't expect to be well received. It might be
I thought
better.
this was supposed to be very welcoming college.
She rolls her eyes and she says, "You have no idea."
I'm guessing it will be after we get rid of Mr. Shard. Can you just call him that, Mr. Shard?
So Mistress Adrian actually goes past you, Loosefang, and to look in on Master. And then she comes out with a rather worried look on her face, and she says, "I'm not a healer. I'm not a cleric. I don't know how to treat this. Is he going to be all right?"
Keep in mind, I do have a remove disease spell.
Oh, you have remove disease. See, Mira was going to memorize that. She didn't know that you have it memorized.
Yeah, I wanted to play around with poison and contagion.
That's why. But,
So Mira turns to to Mistress Hill. And, I'm sure he'll be all right. He may have a rough night of it. I'm not sure how much sleep he's actually going to get. But by this time tomorrow, he should be fine. One thing you might want to do is make sure that he's not going to shake himself off the bed and onto the floor. So if you could prop up some pillows or blankets around him just to make sure that he doesn't shake himself off the bed. And Mistress Hill says, "Oh, yes, let's do that." And she goes back in and arranges his bed so that he will stay on the bed, and then quietly comes out and shuts the door. She shakes her. That's the most disturbing case. I've never seen that before. And she says, now that unpleasantness, and she kind of shakes her head as if to shake off a chill. Would you rather take your chances at the well-tuned string, or do you want to head to the southeast of the city to try and find maybe one of the corner shops that might be a bit more hospitable?
I might go to the corner shop. I'd prefer not to cause too much of a ruckus early.
All right. So I need, Marcus, Lady Ament, and Sheik. Can you guys give me spot checks?
Okay.
Oh, 1 second. I gotta select Lady Ament.
Thank you for the eyeballs. I shall return them shortly.
Lady Ament is able to see rather well.
It is midday, so her perception, her perception is pretty well enhanced during the day. All right, let me check those rolls. 30 freaking 2. Ouch. Woohoo. And so Marcus with a 21 and she 23. Done, guys. What is her bonus perception? 16. Yikes.
Yep.
Spot checks her. She's got a plus 16 bonus. Well, she is a hawk after all.
Yep.
All right.
Definitely pretty useful once I start to actually teach her.
All right. You actually see, the three of you actually notice very casually, standing in the shadows, several men that are wearing dark clothing. They don't seem to fit in here because most of the people you've seen moving about the town are dressed in very flamboyant, brightly colored clothing. These people they may be travelers, but you don't suspect that they are. So
I'm gonna let the rest of the party know, like, hey, who are those people?
So, and Lady Ament, she actually is. You can see that she's a bit nervous about that. She doesn't recognize these people, and she can tell that that there's something not quite right about them. So, Sheik, are you going to point them out?
Yes,
Is
I
that
will.
what you said?
I'm going to quietly point them out.
Okay. Mistress Hill actually comes around you in the bushes, and she says, well, where? And she actually says it rather loudly. And she's staring off into the bushes and saying, where? Where? I don't see anyone. And at that point, one of them blends in to the underbrush and disappears.
Can I give an o'clock reference, or is that even going to mean anything in this?
What is that? What reference is that?
A o'clock would be like 12 o'clock. Basically be
Oh,
dead ahead.
yes. Yeah, that probably won't make any sense here.
Okay.
If you could give like a compass direction.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll point them out with a compass direction.
Okay. So Mistress Hill, she makes a spot check to try and see what you're seeing.
Does she get an advantage by looking at a specific location?
Well, now that you've pointed in a specific area, and you told her what she's looking for, she does get a bonus on that. But actually, she still does not see what you're seeing. I don't know what you're looking at, young man.
Well, let's just proceed with caution.
Okay, so Marcus and Sheik, give me perception checks again.
1 sec.
Perception.
Not perception. I keep saying perception. I mean spot.
Spot. Okay.
Alright, let's give another spot.
Oh.
Okay, so Marcus, you have lost sight of them. You don't know where they are. Sheik, you can no longer see them, but now you actually are, you can hear very small noises coming from up on the roof and over behind the tree. Okay, Lady Ament, I need you to give me a spot check now. You may be the saving grace here.
I'm pretty sure she'll be really helpful once I train her.
Natural one.
Oh.
Not this time, lady. I'm sorry.
That's weird. I'm not seeing any of her rolls.
Neither am I.
Oh, you're not seeing?
Oh, that's weird.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like they're
It
private.
says to GM.
Yeah, it looks like they're private. I wonder why they're private. Let me check her character sheet. Just a second.
Oh, it was that. Yeah, there's a thing at the end of the macros that you have to take off. You told us about it on.
That's right.
Yeah, you told us about it on episode 1, but I forgot what it was.
Right. There is a macro when you do the roll, and at the very you have to take out the whisper GM part of the command so that it becomes public. That's right. That's all right. And essentially, Lady Ament, her last spot check was a 32. This one, she rolled a natural 1 and still got a 17. But unfortunately, 17 is not enough. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, you have the feeling that you are being watched. And that brings our session to a close for this evening.
Best watch out. Go. Not.
All right.